What's going on, guys? It's James The Yorkshire Modeller back with you again. We now have issue 37 and 38 of the Titanic from Hachette. So yeah, guys, like I said in the build video for, or the showcase video for issues 10 to 36, I'm going to try and bulk some of these videos together now so I can do a couple of parts. It's going to make life a bit easier for me. I can record once a week just doing a few issues. I do have something else that's coming to the channel very, very soon. I do need to make an announcement video for that. I'm just trying to plan through how to actually do it first because I want to do it well. So let's get started with the build for 37, first of all. So in issue 37, we get more parts for the transmission. Now I have been calling this bit here, that we did in the last issue, I've been calling that the wrong name. I've been calling that the gearbox. It's not, it's actually the transmission. So that's my mistake, I'm sorry. But what we're doing is we're getting a motor, housing, AP screws, and then a turbine shaft as well, just attaching all those bits to the transmission, getting things started. So in the end, it will look a little bit like this. So issue 37, let's crack on. So first things first, we need to take the motor 37A, which is this one just here, and unravel it. Now, what they've done with this, they seem to have wrapped it in the wire itself rather than doing cable ties. So you're just going to need to unravel this like this. Get that all unraveled. There we go. So that's the extremely long wire, all unravelled. So now we take the transmission, so take the motor and the gearbox. Oh, they're calling it a gearbox now. They're calling it a gearbox now. From issue 35. The shaft of the motor has to be fitted into the socket in the cog at the top of the gearbox cover. You will need to rotate the socket so that the D shape will align correctly. So you've got a D shape on there, and then you've got a D shape in there. Now mine seems to be pretty well lined up as it is, but I might just have to twist it a little bit. Hopefully I've done that the right way. No, I haven't, of course I haven't. So just turn that the other way very slightly. There we go, that's in there like that, so you can see it just on the close camera. To do this, use the shaft to rotate the cog. Right, I've just used my tweezers just to do that. It was just there and it was nice and simple. Note the position of the flat side of the motor and cables. So it has to be the other way around. So you can see it there. Red wires on this side, black wire on the other. Next, ensure the motor is fully inserted into the recess in the gearbox, which is unwind the cable and thread the end into the motor housing. So the motor housing is this kind of square blocky thing here, and this will go through that little hole at the bottom there. And then you've got four sort of little pegs and holes that all line up with them. So you've got four holes there, two there, and two there, and you've got obviously matching holes on the cover as well. So that should, in theory, cover that over, but for some reason it is not fitting on mine. You have to really push it by the feel of it. All attached on there. So, put this a bit closer to this camera so you can see it all properly screwed in. So that's that bit done. Step 3, now take the base, which is this one, and thread the cable from the motor through the rectangular hole circled, which is that one just there. So we'll just pass that through. I see where this is going. And then this is just going to screw on. So you've got those 2 holes there, which are kind of actual screw holes. Then you've got these 2 slightly odd shaped bits. They will fit into the 4 gaps there. And then it's the same again, just 4 PB screws to attach all those together. So once again, I'll just speed this up. Those 4 all screwed in just like that. And then last bit of the instructions is to take the shaft, which is this one here, and it does have a recess in that bit there. So you can see the recess just on camera there. So take the shaft 37D, fit the D-shape end of the shaft into the centre of the cog circled, which is that little cog just inside there. And if I just line that up, fit that in there like that, so that fits in nicely. Push the shaft firmly into the cog. Now it's a fairly, it's a fairly loose fit. You can just pull it out, but it does turn the central cog fine. So I'm thinking that is just going to be for the that's just going to be for the centre propeller, that one. Anyway, that's the completed work. The motor and shaft have been fitted into the gearbox. So that's that bit done. I'll put that to one side. Now, so that's 37 all done. Issue 38, which we're going to be doing now, we get the printed circuit board with a PCB switch for testing the motors, plus a USB-C to USB-A cable. I think this is for actually working the thing. It's a USB-C. We can plug it in. I like this. Let's get started. 38. Sorry about that, just had to have a move around with the camera because I didn't like where it was before. I've got my computer just here, and looking at the screen, it just looked off. It looked really off. But anyway, issue 38. For building on this one, we are testing the actual motors itself. So what you're going to need is, you're going to need all your engine bay bit that we've already built, and you're going to need the motor that we did in issue 37. You do get this little switch here. So you've got your USB-C port there, and then you've got your connector for the motor itself. So what we're going to be doing is testing the motors. So we're going to be testing everything, including the engine, by the looks of things. So let's get this bit done, shall we? So the first part of the instructions are parts in the issue. Underneath it says you will need a power source, such as a computer or laptop, in order to plug the USB tester motor in. You should be able to use a phone charger, but check the output is 5 volts and 1 or 2 amps. Now, I'm going to plug this straight into my computer. So this cable here, you've got USB-C and you've got your normal USB. So I'm just going to plug this in behind you. I've got a USB hub, so I'll do that now. So that is plugged in, but not turned on. So the next step is to check the operation of the engines on your model. You will need the PCB switch, this one, and the USB cable and the gearbox motor shafts assembled in issue 37. The switch can move left or right, ahead or astern. In the center, the motor will be switched off, stop. The ahead position, all 3 propeller shafts will rotate. In the astern position, only 2 outer shafts will rotate. So, take the engine room assembly from issue 36, thread the cable from the motor through the rectangular opening in the floor section. So we've got a little rectangular opening in the floor section, which is that one just there. So I'll shove that through there first. Position the gearbox as shown. So that has to go that way around. So I need to plug that into there. Need to make sure that one goes into there, wherever the hole is, there at the bottom. And then I need to make sure that one is right way around as well. So that's in there like that. Seems to be good. Position the gearbox as shown above so that the shaft 37D fits into the turbine engine base, which is this bit just here. And the side shafts fit into cogs on the outer corners of the gearbox. Take your time and ensure it's correctly fitted. You may need to rotate the shafts in order to fit them into the cogs. Take care not to pull the shafts out of the thrust blocks flywheels. Fix the gearbox in place with 4 AP screws, which I've got here. Right, there is no need to tighten them fully until you have finished testing the motor. So I'll just get this all set up, make sure I've got everything in the right place so I can get it screwed down, and then we'll just go on to step 3, which is making sure that everything's testing right. They're all screwed in. So that's motor attached, cable coming neatly out the bottom there. Next, before testing, check that the connecting rods on the engines are aligned correctly. On the port engine, which is the one that's facing me now, the rods 5B move in and out in alternating pairs, first, third, second, fourth. So if I just try, yeah, just a slight bit of movement, I can see first, third, the first one and the third one are moving out at the same time, and the second and fourth one are moving in at the same time. Yeah, that's fine. That's absolutely perfect, actually, what's in there. Similarly, on the starboard side, there should be aligned in alternating pairs. Note, the connecting rods 5B and 27F should not be further than the edge of the gangway. So they're not further, that's fine. I'm just going to have a quick look at the other side, make sure that's the same, just slightly turning that crankshaft if it'll turn. Yep, that's fine. So that's that. Right, last bit. You are now ready for the test run. Connect the motor cable to the MOT socket. So it's the one that looks like your normal kind of connector for these sorts of parts. Do it that way around. So push that in. Ensure that the switch is in the stop position. So stop is in the center. So that's in the center. Connect the USB cable to the USB socket on a desktop or laptop computer. Once the power supply is connected, move the switch to ahead. So I'm just going to plug that in there first, like that. That's connected. Now turn this on. So that's now got power going to it, I hope. Once the power supply is connected, move the switch to the ahead position and let it run for about 30 seconds. Shall we give it a try? So, move to the ahead and let it run for about 30 seconds, then check it works in the astern. So, ahead. It works. It works. You can probably hear it whirring actually, but I was so worried that wasn't going to work. And they're turning nicely. Just drop that back down and now move it back to the stop position. Right, leave it for a second. And then it says check that it works in the astern position. So I'm just going to check ahead. Stop, and now astern. And they're going the other way. That's perfect. I love that. That's great. When you're happy that everything is working correctly, move the switch to the off position. Off. So, unplug the USB. I'm just going to turn the power off first, then unplug it. That's that bit done. Unplug the USB and disconnect the motor from the PCP. Use tweezers to avoid damaging the wires. So I'll get that taken off in a minute because I know how to do that. Then tighten the screws holding the gearbox in place. everything's done with that one. That's the completed work for issue 38. So the gearbox has been fitted, the engines have been tested, store the parts carefully, they're just going on a shelf. And be careful because they're delicate engines on the thrust blocks. I am so chuffed with this. That's amazing, that is. So that's issues 37 and 38 all done. With issue 39, we're working on platform, gauges, control support shafts and mounting plate screws. So more sort of engine related details. And also in the next video, we're going to be doing issue 40, which I will go through in the next video. So guys, please remember to like, share and subscribe to The Yorkshire Modeller for more weekly model building geekiness, and I'll see you in the next video for 39 and 40 of Titanic. So until then guys, happy modelling and stay safe. Thanks for watching. If you've enjoyed this video, please remember to like, share and subscribe. You can click on the link on the left for this model's playlist. You can click on the link on the right for the YouTube recommends, or you can click on the link in the centre to subscribe to The Yorkshire Modeller. I'll see you next time, guys.